Oh, it's awesome. It's such a good community. I didn't expect it to be so good and to, just be able to come along and have chats with anyone so easily, and everyone's just so willing to share their adventures or advice, and it's just really encouraging. There's absolutely no ego around it. It's just, a cool group of people that love adventuring.
Adventurous at heart, mountaineers, ultra runners, people that love the wilderness.
It's all about the glory. Complete one of the 3 routes in one push. Buy yourself a t-shirt and get an invite to the awards event. Complete the main range S-K in under 24 hours and join the exclusive Main Range Club. Do all 3 routes in under 24 hours and win a pretend space in the dusty road end car park of glory. Do 2 SKs back to back, or the 1500s, and get a koru engraved on the Patupaiarehe award.
The Patupaiarehe were mythical Māori mountain spirits. A lot of mountain runners tend to disappear off into the mist, and so it seemed a fitting name. I carry the same design on my skin. The 4 korus represent mum and dad, me and my brother. My family is where I draw a lot of my strength. I have carved a koru in for each recipient. We lost our friend Swallow. He has inspired so many of us to challenge ourselves, to push further, faster, higher. We've got a swallow on the shaft. This is actually the same design that he wore on his motorbike jacket.
Okay, everyone, I'll do the formalities and the introduction. So this is, I've been told it's the 11th year of the SK Awards. It's a kind of informal / formal affair that will keep it going, keep the spirit alive, keep it formalised, keep this certificate awards going, keep the website going, keep Facebook going, keep it all, the ball rolling. So there's a lot to get through tonight, and I always do the prelim of the spirit of the event as far as I can see it, because years ago our good friend Chris Swallow and Lawrence did the SK in sub 24 and followed in Colin Rolfe's footsteps. The historic SK route, the Tararua route that the Wellington community hold dear to their heart, built on that. He got inspiration by the Trampers and Colin, and he just had such a passion for this event, for this route, that it sort of instilled it in me. Because he's such a good guy, Chris Swallow. A lot of probably remember him, and we all really miss him all the time. But he had this spirit of adventure, and he'd done the Bob Graham Round. And the Bob Graham Round, people probably know in England, is the 24-hour challenge that Bob Graham started in 1938, and it's a big thing in England now. In the Lake District, people all support each other. And when you go on their webpage now and you see the spirit of their adventure, and sometimes you feel that's gone in this modern world of Facebook and all the sort of scrolling and sitting around the house. There is still adventure out there. There's still magic out there that people can aspire to, and not necessarily be a mountaineer, but there's a challenge that mere mortals can do that's, with their 9-to-5 jobs, that gives them adventure in their lives. And I think that's the essence of it. The SK is an attempt to build on the tradition of the Wellington. It's a Wellington centric, so not take it over, make it a sort of a Bob Graham round for New Zealand. It's gaining traction. It's on the World FKT website. We've had the movie. Didn't get selected for Banff, unfortunately, so didn't get our shot at going to Banff, but it's been doing well. It's been on Air New Zealand flights and stuff. So it's going well, and I just think it's really neat when you see what happens to people when they embark on these amazing adventures in the hills, and you just get a real kick out of the because if you've done it yourself, what I've done at SK Valleys, you can know what the dark places have been to, and it's only you people that have done it know. It's a bit like Fight Club. A lot of people won't know what you're talking about, but all you guys know about it. And then if people are willing to go into a dark place and do the unknown, then they may get to that car park of glory at 3 a.m, sit there on a chair and know they've done something very out of the ordinary and not part of 9 to 5 life. And I think that's real magic these days, and it's great that it's going well. So that's my little intro. I'll take you through the night, because we've got quite a lot to get through actually. So essentially what I'm going to do are the stats, then we're going to do 4 talks. I've got me on my Northburn human sacrifice. My mate Mark Gregory's probably not even in the room and convinced me to do the Northburn miler, and I downgraded. Anyway, I don't know. Then we've got Allira's European fast packing, we've got Alex's SK, and we've got Andy's mountain mission. So we'll try and keep them short enough so it doesn't go on all night. But essentially I'll do the stats, and then we'll do the SK main range certificate handout, which is essentially what Chris wanted. He wanted it to be the parallel of the Bob Graham round, where you get a certificate, and even the certificates are the same style as the Bob Graham round certificates. And to do a main range in under 24 is like the holy grail. The SK Valleys is awesome. The SK Tarn is a magnificent mountain route, but I think the real magic is that main range. So to hand out those certificates, if anyone's done that route, they'll know the epicness. To get under 24 on that route is exceptional. And apparently AI has it as a mountaineering, what was it? Elite mountaineering. AI said that, so can't be wrong. No. And we've got, Callum's going to talk a little bit about Rex, the new club that's taking over the Munter, the undulator, which was another thing, 2 events dear to my heart, that the forms were killing us, so we've got a new construct. So he'll do a brief talk about that. We've got Nick Blair talking about the huts. We've got the Patupaiarehe award, which is the exceptional award in the Tararuas for something, because the SK main range for some people is not enough, and they just blow your mind. Okay, so I'll quickly do the stats. So the really good one is the SKV. So can we go onto the SK Valleys stats page there, Andy? You just scroll down the number of people who have done this now. There's 138 people have now done this route in under 24, and that's amazing given it doesn't seem that long ago me and Ian took off down that valley, and you can just see all the cool sorts have done it. So 137, and it's 13 people this season, so well done. I'd like to make a special shout out for Julie. Julie, do you want to stand up? 69. Where's Julie? Give her a hand. 69. And I've done runs with her. She never gives up, and she's nails. And she tried 2-3 times. She went down the Glen, and he got her down there in 24. I was so stoked when she did that, because I knew she really wanted that, and that's pretty impressive. So let's try and do that when we're at that age. It'll be really tough. Then the Tarn SK, please, Andy. That's 45 people now have done that, and 2 new people this season. And you might scroll down to the bottom of those. Matt Compton from Palmerston North, Ryan Tate, just did it last weekend, I think, 1915. Just did a cheeky 1915. He's of coast to coast pedigree, one of the younger generations coming through, very fast. Got some fleet of foot people. But as you can see, that route is the real deal too. Anyone done the Tarn, they know it's a real mountain road. There's a real mountain access to it. And saying this, if anyone ever watches this and goes, I'll give it a crack, it's basically a wilderness event for wilderness people. You could really get into trouble in those Tararuas. So we never try and make light of how epic it is in there. You can get really cold and you can get in trouble. So you're not only dealing with the route and exhaustion, but you're dealing with the wilderness. And I think that just adds even more power to the achievements that people are making. And then we'll have the main range there, please, Andy. and we'll do the certificate hands out at the end. But we had 2 new members to the main range this season, and Olivia did it again. So I didn't include her this season. She did it last season, and she just loves going up and down Tararua at the weekend. The only problem she has is how she gets a car from Hutara all the time. That's more problematic than getting down the main range. And hoping your physio doesn't find out what you got up to the weekend. That's the other thing you have to try and stop them. But I'd lose track of what Olivia gets up to. So yeah, that was the summary of the thing. And let's have a first talk. So who wants to go first on the talkies?
Allira was going to go first.
Okay, Allira. So if you want to come up, Allira, and I'll hand over the. Now I've met her parents actually just recently. She's from Western Australia, and apparently she wasn't into mountains in the old days. But then she went. Well, she is now. This woman just loves the mountains, and you'll find out she's all over the place. There you go. So you have to chuck that on your t-shirt.
Sweet. I'm not going to be in the way if I stand here.
You're not that tall, Olivia.
Kia ora, koutou. Hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name's Allira. I think I know maybe 90% of you, but yeah, hello to new friends. This is my first SK Awards night. I haven't actually been before. I've actually always had imposter syndrome. I felt like I wasn't really worthy to be in a room with such incredible people doing incredible things. And so, yeah, just thank you for having me here. I think, yeah, today's corridor is about one of my adventures, fast packing the Alpina. It's a short story about a long adventure. This was something that I did about a year ago, this time last year, and it's taken me a while to be able to talk about it in a positive way. I think I had a real hard time when I came back, the kind of post-adventure come down, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing the positive side of the adventure as well. I think we all know that we do adventures like this because we want to feel the range of the spectrum of the feelings. We want to have positives and negatives. But this was an adventure that I had some of the best moments of my life and some of the worst moments of my life. And it was one of the best decisions and one of the worst decisions. So, yeah, I'll try to keep it nice and concise. And I'll just firstly talk a bit about how I got here from the beaches of Western Australia to the European Alps. And then I'll go into the stats for all you gear nerds and stat nerds, because we love like talking about the data. And then I'll just talk, I'll have a bit of story time with Allira. So yeah, I didn't grow up running. I didn't grow up being into the outdoors. I didn't set up a tent until my early 20s. I started running about 10 years ago. I grew up in the very flat part of Western Australia, a few hours south of Perth. And I grew up, I'm gonna come back to why I'm talking about what I am today, is because all of my adventures sit within the spectrum of being equally excited and equally terrified. So that's just, I think, how I choose my adventures. Something that excites you and something that terrifies you. Okay, back to where I grew up. I grew up in Western Australia, and I grew up as a figure skater. From the age of 5, I started figure skating and spent the next 18 years of my life dedicated to this really niche sport that no one really does or knows about. So yeah, I got to travel the world and went to a bunch of world championships, and when I stopped that, I just needed something to fill the gap, I think. I wanted to do something that was, I guess I could just be average at, that I wasn't expected to be the best in Australia at, or try to be the best in the world at. I just wanted to do something that I could just put on my shoes and go. And I was sick of being judged, you know, physically. You have to be perfect, you have to look perfect. I just wanted to run and be muddy and sweaty and just blend in, I guess. So I started running in Western Australia, the beaches, and then moved to Melbourne for a few years. And then 5 years ago, moved to Wellington, and I thought, this is the worst place for running. There are hills everywhere. Like, I'm just going to get bored of running on the waterfront. But I joined Worms in like my second week here, and it just kind of escalated from there. And so I just, started running in the hills, and I just started working a government job. And I was just very bored, and I thought there must be something more that I can do with the healthiest years of my life than sitting in an office. So I did one of those things that's equally exciting and terrifying, and I decided to do Te Araroa. Well, I did the South Island. So I fast packed from Bluff to Ship Cove in the summer of 2024. So I just took 6 weeks of unpaid leave, packed my backpack, and took a one-way flight on Christmas Day to Invercargill, as you do, and then just plodded back to Wellington. And this, I remember having a phone call with my mum afterwards, who's extremely supportive, but after I finished this, she was like, so this is it now, you know, like this is, like that's your big thing done. And I just didn't even respond, because I was just like, and in my head, I'm like, I'm just getting started. I think the thing that I loved about Te Araroa was the simplicity of life on the trail. You know, you're just, all you're doing every day is keeping yourself alive, which some days it was hard, but you're just finding somewhere to sleep, you know, finding something to eat, like making good decisions, and just spending a lot of time, like doing it solo, you just spend a lot of time thinking and being in tune with your surroundings and learning the patterns of sheep and counting the dead sheep and making up stories and songs and, you know, listening out for the sound of water because that's your water source. And when I got back to Wellington and back to my office job, I was pretty unmotivated, and I was looking for the next thing, as we always do. When I was on TA, the route spends a lot of time in the valley, for those of you who have done it, and I was always looking up on the mountains being like, I really wouldn't mind being up on there, up on the tops, but if I did side trips, it would take me a long time to get back. So when I was looking for this next thing, I considered running around the world, but that kind of seemed a little bit daunting at the time. I got down this rabbit hole of like all these rules that you had to follow and the logistics, like it was just a little bit too much to go from TA to running around the world. So I found this route called Via Alpina, and it basically was what I wanted. I wanted something long, and I wanted something in the mountains. I looked at things like the PCT and Appalachian, but I really wanted to be in the mountains. I'd just fallen in love with them. So I chose to do Via Alpina. I had this choice. It was a really hard decision. It was between taking a new job, a really, secure, stable, another government job in Wellington, when the government had changed and all of that happened, or turning down this job and going on this adventure. And I received the contract, and I had a week to decide. And I did what any 31-year-old at the time, responsible person would have done, and I turned down the job and I booked the flight. And I did this thing that I'm going to actually talk about now. So Via Alpina is, it's a known through hiking route. So it starts here in Slovenia, and it basically just follows the curve of the European Alps. It's roughly 2,000 kilometers, and I mean, they advertised it as 110,000 meters vert, but this was kind of my actual stats. My average daily was 32k and about 1,800 meters vert. The highest peak was 2.8, so it kind of, never quite got over the 3,000, so I made sure to go back to the Alps afterwards and bag one of those. And 8 countries, so I started in Slovenia and then went Slovenia, Italy, Austria, Germany, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, France, Monaco. And this down here is the elevation profile. So yeah, it kind of just goes up and down all day, every day, which is like just what I wanted. Okay, so my gear. This is basically all that I took. There was some, so this was before I left, and there was some kind of slight additions. Like I bought rain pants and a new rain jacket and rain gloves and updated like my first aid kit and things like that, but that's pretty much all I took. So my base weight was 8 kilo without food and water, so it was normally about 10 kilos. The difference between this and Tararua was that I was passing through a village or a hut almost every day or every second day. The longest section was about 5 days, and even then there were huts, so I wasn't having to carry as much food as on Tararua, which was a positive. 74 elapsed days, 63 moving days, 11 rest days. I had about a week off in the middle, and then the other days were just kind of whenever I felt tired or needed a break. Oh, what did I eat? Everyone wants to know. So lots of bread, jam, oats, bars, like protein bars, muesli bars, chippies, noodles, couscous, tofu, chocolate lollies. If I was camping, I would go through phase. Is it 2 minutes left?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well that's what I ate. I did have this, oh my gosh, I had this rule with fruit and vegetables. If I took it up a mountain, I was not allowed to carry it to the next town. So that was that. My longest day in time was about 12 hours, distance 50k, most vert, true 9, average sleep 7 hours.
10 minutes. Sleeping.
Oh, where did I sleep? Yeah, a lot of nights camping. So if it was camping, it was normally wild camping. I would just find a lake or a river or something. Sometimes someone's front yard or a park. Lots of huts, like fancy huts. B&B or hotel. When I say hotel, I mean like a little farmer's village kind of B&B or hotel, not super fancy hotels. And some people's houses. This was the story time part. Do I have time for some quick stories?
Yeah, of course you have.
Okay.
He's just trying to make sure
Okay.
we don't go.
So this is day 0 to 15. So every adventure I go on, I take a little journal, and it's a bit of a luxury item. But every night I make sure to just write one page. No matter how tired I am, I can always write one page because it's something that's, you forget so many of the little things that happen. So I thought I'd have a little story time, and I'm not going to read, there's a lot in here, so I've just pinpoint a few random little notes. And each note has a corresponding photo, so you can try and guess which one. Okay, day 0. Wowee, I made it. I'm kind of winging it, yet somehow I know that it will be an absolute trip of a lifetime yet again. Let's go. Day 2. Highlights were supermarket snacks in the heat, the first mountain summit, and the meal at the refugia at the top. The little random cottage with the weird lady, but mostly Levin turning up at the end of the day and finding a place to set up our tents on someone's front lawn. Day 3. The first really tough day today. Thanks to feet covered in blisters and back covered in chafing. Every step felt like walking on glass. Blister popping done, so hopefully tomorrow will be easier. Long days, late nights, but everything is beautiful. Day 6. A really big day, but probably my favourite so far. The views were absolutely breathtaking along the ridge. An accidental illegal swim in a lake was a highlight, as was seeing some snow and getting up close to Triglav. Day 8. Plenty of highlights today, like swimming in a beautiful icy lake, crossing the Austrian-Slovenian border, yay. Walking over the border to Italy for a pizzeria dinner was also a big highlight. Day 10. I knew a storm was coming and almost beat it, but not quite. Thunder and hail as I ran a really fun trail. It was so enjoyable, feeling like a kid playing in the rain. Sleeping in the fanciest hut I've ever seen, a 3-course dinner and such good cozy vibes. Day 14, rest day. A much needed sleep in after being so exhausted yesterday. Spent a decent amount of time lazing around, washing and sorting gear and resupply, talking to mum and dad, buying rain pants and eating. Being in a town is overwhelming, and I'm looking forward to being back on the trails. Into the Dolomites for a few days, thunderstorms are forecasted, but I'm hoping to camp a bit. Day 16. Woke up to footsteps walking by the tent at 5 a.m, but it was nothing to worry about. The cows, on the other hand, they were the issue. 4:30 a.m. wake up because I thought there was a storm coming. Turns out it was just rain. Still, it was nice to start early. Summit number 1 by 7:30 a.m, second brekkie at 9 a.m, lunch at a cozy rifugio at midday, and down to the destination village by 4 p.m. Looking forward to a bed. There were lots of, as I went back through here, there were lots of common themes, like lots of weather chat, lots of food chat, lots of bed chat. Day 18, up above around 2,400 metres with constant rain. I was so worried about stopping and getting dangerously cold and wet, so I just kept going as fast as I could. Oof, today was hard, and I don't know why. It should have been an easy day, 29k, 2,200 metres on vert, but I had no energy and struggled the whole way up the climb. Enjoyed a big plate of potatoes and soup and beer on the German-Austrian border, then descended into Germany. Day 26, not a great day. Thought a rest day would help my Achilles, and so I went to the next town to buy ibuprofen and try to find some shoes. No luck. I can't wait to get back on the trail though. I just hope I'll feel okay. Probably one of the worst days since starting. We'll try and sleep a lot and hope for a better day tomorrow. Day 30, bad start to the day. Didn't sleep well, woke up to someone saying the forecast wasn't looking good, cooked brekkie in the rain, phone plan ended, and that's how the day continued. It rained the entire day. I didn't take long breaks because I was worried about getting cold. Luckily, despite being 50k, it was super runnable and was finished in the arvo. Day 33, riding from my cold tent wearing all my layers. Sleeping by a farmer's house at 2,000 metres, worried about how cold it's going to be tonight. Day 34, today was a lot of a struggle. Woke up to an icy tent and a literally frozen morning, packed up quickly and started moving until I got some sunshine for breakfast. Day 37, all set to go, but walked outside the hut to snow. Unbelievable. So went back inside, had a coffee, and chilled for a few hours until it stopped. Day 38, rest day. Spent the day cleaning gear, fixing things. I did more sewing, and walked to the only little shop. There's just lots of like bad, just weather chats really. Then set off early because the forecast wasn't looking very good. Got to the hospice after only a little bit of rain. The hospice is weird. It's a very religious place, and I felt lost and lonely at first. Then I started talking to a Belgian girl, so feeling better. Day 58, the best day in a long time, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Incredibly scenic day. Every minute had beautiful views. Met a sweet family at the descent and crossed into France. Staying with Stephen's parents, the level of hospitality is unreal. They've been so kind and I'm really grateful for their generosity. Bed, washing machine, shower, home-cooked vegan curry. Day 59. Some stunning views and was so nice that I stopped for a morning coffee at the first top. Day 63. Spent the first 4 hours in the pouring rain. Got to the bottom and decided to carry on. Day 64. Got to the campsite in the Arvo and the owner offered me a yurt for the same price. It's nice to have a kitchen and electricity and a bed. There's more bed and electricity chats. 65. What a perfect day, finally. Sunshine, blue sky, strong legs, nice trails, ridgeline. Oh, okay. Okay, ridgeline section, cruisy downhills, everything clicked. Stopped for a break at the hut and carried on. A big 43k day with 2,800 metres vert. It's going to be a cold, damp night, but I found an extra blanket and we'll sleep in tomorrow. Next day was an absolutely terrible night's sleep, so cold, blah, 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 it's cold. I met some people. met some school children, got some more pizza. And then made it to Monaco. I'll just read it. Wow, such a special day today. Such a weird, bittersweet day. Can't believe it. It feels so surreal. Seeing the city from up high was also a magical moment. The last bit into town was super chaotic, very overwhelming, but eventually got to the square and found the sign. Got pizza for dinner, then the train to Nice. Lots to ride and say, but for now, time to enjoy a bed.
Brilliant.
Yeah. That's. Yeah. So yeah, coming into Monaco, I think I was the only person in all of Monaco in active wear. Like it was a very, yeah. So I have lots more stories and lots more I want to say, but I don't want to take up, well, I'm not allowed to take up more time. So I just have a very, 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 very short video, because I think sometimes it's better to just show it. So this is actually, it's a reel that I tried to create, and I've got some more I've shared lots of photos and videos on my Instagram, so you can kind of go and stalk me, or if you have more questions or things that you want to. And just before I go, what's next, you ask? So next week I'm going overseas for 3 months, and I'm going to fast pack the length of Japan. So that's my plan. You can, I'll try to share stuff on Strava and Instagram, and I'll pass this back over. Thank you.
So good. That's all right. Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome, eh? Like, I think the magic of this night is you get the spirit of the people that do these things. It's just, there's so much out there that. So that's to do that sort of thing solo is next level. So really impressive. And hopefully that sort of thing inspires other people to take things. So who's next then? Who wants? Me? Do you want me to? I'll do mine. Will be very quick. Okay then. So you'll just do the number one.
I'm not going to give you the same length.
No, I'm only going to be like 5 minutes. Okay, that's me. So I'll do a really quick one. I can't follow in the footsteps of Allira. It's quite cool though. I'll just do my quick one because I think this is quite cool. A lot of the people that have done the S-K may have actually done Northburn. And Northburn, because I put on those two races, the Muka Muka Munta and the Undulated, and I feel like Northburn is Terry's part of my DNA, my same thing. He's one of the good guys who put this on. It's the miler in down in Cromwell. It's called Northburn 100. So the real deal is the miler. And I know there's a lot of people that have done it in this room. Well, not a lot, but there's people that have done it. It's 10,000 metres. So I got convinced by Mark I got swept up, and I thought I'll be fit enough by then, and I wasn't. I went, I don't want to go. And then I went, fuck, I better go. Everyone else is all my mates are doing it, I'll go. So I've called this the human sacrifice, my Northburn story. So I ended up, I put my name down for the miler, and I thought at one point I was going to do the miler, and then I dropped down to the 100, but it was 110, so I did the water race as well. So do you want to go to the next slide there, Andy? So it's a 50k loop, so you can see it's quite epic. So you've got 1,600, 2,600 vertical climb. So the first loop is 2,600, the second loop is a 60k loop, that's what we did. That's got 4,000 metres elevation in the second loop. So these are big loops. The third and final loop, if you do the miler, you get a total, it's an extra 4,000, it's 10,000 metres. So this is the real deal, like this is no mucking about. This is hardcore. And what I really like about Northburn is there's no fanfare. You might get a clap, you just get a quiet respect from people. And I did get a hug from Terry at the end, which I thought was a bit of magic there. So next one, so that's the, sorry, I've got the wrong order, but 50k loop, is that the first loop? Yeah, so the first loop you go up and around, high, get to the high points, Dunstan, that's magic up there. And then you come down this beautiful valley, it's got all these little streams, come right down, and then this loop of deception, they give you an extra loop at the end. And that's just magic, but that 50k is like a little taster. It's kind of like, you know, you're not going to go all that way to do the miler. You got to do more. And this Al Sheldon, obviously he'd done it before. He just thought I'd just come down and support. He did the 50. But if you're going to do the Northburn, I hope you guys want to, because I reckon it's got soul, eh? So just put it on your agenda, because it's just got that real character. And the next loop is the second loop. This is the one. I mean, I got back and I went, oh God. If I just do 50k, I'm going to get no respect, and I'm sitting there outside the tent, and I'm going, no one's here, everyone's gone, I'm shit. And then I saw Caroline come out of her caravan, and I said, oh, I'm not the only one here. And I went, right, I've got to go out on my second lap, otherwise, you know, I won't really experience the weekend. And I was going into sort of the unknown on the second lap. So you go out of that, the tent city, you go up this climb, and you go into this beautiful valley, and then it gets night, and then night comes, because you know there's only so many hours in a day, and then night comes about here, and then you're in the dark, and you're going across this beautiful sort of tussock, and you get up to this leaning rock, and there's another photo coming, and we had this aurora, I didn't realise the South Island, I thought it was the Arctic where you see all the colours, but at the top we saw all the colours, there will be a photo later. Come down, descend. And I was with Carolyn this time, because Carolyn, I don't think she came over tonight, but she's one of my really good friends. We've done a lot of missions together. And I felt like I was in the zone here. I went, I'm going to do this. I'm in the miler. I'm going to be doing it. So I did the water race with Carolyn, which is a real sort of epic part of the Northburn. You go down to where all the old gold miners were doing their sluices, and there was lots of places they're doing their mining, and it's like the dark place. It's just really deep, and you have to come right out of it. And we came right out of it. I think it's about here, and you're coming down. At this point, for some reason, I hadn't really done my research. I thought, you can see the lights of Cromwell, and I was coming down and thinking, oh, I'm going home. And then Karen goes to me, it's a big loop, this. And I went, don't say it's a big loop coming. And I thought, yeah, it has been epic. And I realised as we came around here, I thought, oh no. And we started climbing up here, and I sat down. That's where I sat down and went, this is beyond me. And I started getting a bit grumpy. And then we came here, and this went on, and days breaking here. And I'm coming around here, and I'm going, and he must be a masochist, because he comes around here, and every corner you go around, you think, oh, I'm just going to wind around this nice hill, but it goes up a valley, and it keeps climbing, and you're just going up, and you can't get out, and they won't let you get out. It's like, on the last one, and actually I had one little meltdown. Carolyn was so good, she's so light-hearted, and she was going, where are we going now? And because it's really well marshalled, there's these people out there. And the marshal goes, you go down here, and you see those lights up there in the hills. He goes, that's where you're going now. And I went, I don't want to go up there anymore, I want to go home. So we went up there, and the other thing, I had post-traumatic disorder, and people who've done Northburn will know this, is if you get a beautiful star at night, you go, those are the stars, and you realise they're not, they're head torches. You're going up there again, and it's like, oh, and every time I saw a star, I thought, please let that be a star and not a head torch. Well, I have to, but it goes on, and then I finally got back to the finish, and I saw the milers coming out that same route, so all respect to the milers. I mean, you're really going to a dark place with that miler. So do you want to chuck on the next one?
3 minutes to go.
Yeah, 3 minutes. So yeah, that's the miler. They do another one, the third loop. They go right back up to Leaning Rock. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but there are people in here who've done it. It's the next one. So then we'll just have some shots of the course. Great people, no glamour. If you think you can do it, go down and do it. It's just magic. Next one. That's the belt buckle you get if you get a miler, 10,000 metres. That's the start. All the night head torches, all the good sorts, and that's the kind of terrain you're going up. Just like volcanic kind of, it's amazing rocks, beautiful, epic North Otago, barren, but it's got its own beauty. Next one. Just keep going through them if you want, Andy. That's me going, talking to, yeah, bit of suffering at the end. Do some training. Yeah, he said, what advice you give us? I say, do some training. So it's all rocks, beautiful, beautiful terrain. That was that valley I was going up. There's me, or Carolyn, and you got the sunset coming down. And there's that aurora, absolute magic. It's a magic place. It's kind of a spiritual experience, really. And you get these amazing rocks. I don't know how those rocks were formed, but it's kind of just epic down there. It's just a really neat event, and I really like it. And good people, keep going if you want. That's the last one. I've got a bit of a video, or not enough time probably.
We can play a minute of it.
Yeah, do a minute of. It's Martin Greith's video. It's a great little video. But no, go and do it.
Huge elevation gains and painful descents.
What distance are you doing, Swan, again? Only the 100 miles. 100 miles for me.
Too far, 100 miles.
100 miles, hopefully. Distance up?
100 miles.
100 miles. Any pearls of wisdom? Don't stop. Yeah, don't think about it too hard.
None. I'm going to follow this.
Question your life choices. Any pearls of wisdom? No, just keep going. Don't get in the four-wheel drives that drive past. We're leaving the security of the marquee. Ready for the tip-off. Leave line up on the road. We're on countdown to D-Day.
Is that it then? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I really like it.
Just before you carry on, Chris,
Yeah.
I was out on a run with Chris the other week, and he said, hold on to that. I was out with Chris the other week, and he was saying, I've only got a few things in my life. I've got house music, I've got craft beer, and I've got missions. But he's a little bit wrong because he's got all of us. And one thing that also kind of came to pass was kind of watching Andy's video the other year.
I've got West Ham.
We have a they're going down. There's a bit that comes up that says Chris Martin, S-K, Mayor. And I got thinking, it's like every mayor needs what? Mayoral chains. So Chris, you're getting some mayoral chains tonight. So if you can just,
As long as they're not tassels on my nipples, mate. Cheers, mate.
you got S-K, Mayor.
All right. Cheers. No, actually, that's the other thing I like. This crowd of people. They're good bastards, and I wouldn't do all this stuff without the good people. And you have to admit, they're such nice people. The people in these things, really lovely. Thanks, mate. He's a Tottenham supporter, so I can't like you too much, but be my stand. Okay, so who's next? Is it Alex? There you go, mate. So if you want to put that in your there you go, and then put that in your pocket. Cool. Thanks, man.
Hi guys, I'm Alex, originally from Russia but living in Wellington now. It's so nice to be in a room full of psychos. Finally, I feel like I belong. When I originally came from Russia, like I didn't know much about running and etc. And then I think bumping into this group changed my perspective completely, because the trail running in Europe is so much different. Some of you guys who run UTMB or something know it's trail running, but once you go into the SKs, you realize how brutal it is. So I think thanks to some of you who are telling about the Tararuas and some of the runs over there, which is not really runs. So I think I heard about the SK first, probably from Team Sutton, when I started seeing what he's doing on Strava and got interested, and eventually started doing some small missions around Tararuas. But then I think I was really afraid to start doing any SKs, so I had like a long build-up doing the valleys a couple of years ago with my friend Alexei, and then Tarn last year, and then finally main range just this summer. And I didn't have much time to prepare, so AI helped me to prepare some of the slides. And the best metric that it picked up is actually photos per kilometer. Because all the other stats probably you guys know as well. Yeah, so I think for me it was almost a natural progression, but if you look at my times, I think I roughly, it doesn't matter for me which route I take, it's all around 23 hours, because like this magical 24-hour number, who invented it? I had a couple of moments when I say, actually, why 24? Why not 26? Why we have to be like, but it's a very cool challenge to have, and it tests your mind. So the journey started maybe 2 years ago. Next slide, Andy, please. When in the middle, I think, was it the shortest day in 2024? Around 21st of June, we went to do the Valleys S-K with Alexei, and it was the first test kind of how tough Tararuas can be, especially with the muddy conditions, especially when you lose an hour or two because you forget your phone somewhere in one of the hills, and then you come back and you magically find it. And then when you come to the section which you think is runnable and you can fast walk it, but they actually kind of, you're so tired that you just walk it out. But once you do it under 24 hours, you're actually kind of happy, ticked it, but it has raised some concerns. Is other SKs doable if you're kind of very close to 24? So next slide, please. So last year I tried to do in the Tarn SK, and it's like, I think that was the hardest one for me actually, probably harder than the main range, because I don't know, I think I pushed too hard too soon. And again, once I got to the easy second half, I just didn't have any energy, so just have to walk it out. And at that stage, I really thought the main range is not possible. But I think last year I came to this awards night, first time. I got the energy from you guys. I think Callum was presenting the main range, and he called out explicitly me saying, "Oh, you guys, you're doing Tarn. Next thing you need to be doing main range." So I'll be calling out some names as well. Yeah, so I think for this year, it almost was my goal for, I think, next slide. So for this year, it almost was a goal after we'd done the adventure racing race in Canada, World Champs with my team. It's like we came up and I was like, I don't want to do anything for a month. And then you need a motivation for your training for summer. And that was actually main range. Finally, I can kind of start training for it. And thanks to Alexia as well, we went for we did the Southern main range loop together. We did a lot of swallow loop, I think, trainings, because that's a good testing ground. But it was, I think mentally I was just still kind of in that state, which I was not convinced. But I think once it just clicked, once you actually accept that main range is, you need to accept that the failure is quite possible. And you can basically just kind of give in into the mountains. I think that was, that's the main switch that happened to me, I guess, in my mind as well. And originally, I think I had dates saying, oh, I'll probably aim it at Waitangi weekend, but the weather didn't look good. So, you know how with Tararuas, you're just looking for the calendar and saying, oh, maybe this Friday is working, but then you need to do a whole bunch of logistics around work and kids reshuffling and stuff. But I think eventually, if everything lines up, it's actually quite a good start. I think for me, it was really cool because I got my son to drop me off at Putara Road End, which was pretty cool. And we had clear skies at the start, but once I started kind of going, it was a clag, it was a rain. I was almost shouting at the Tararua saying, oh, I know it's a test, I know it should be a good day, just let me in. But it was like kind of spiritual moment as well. Next slide. Yeah, and I think kind of time. I had the usual times estimations, and I was like slightly behind. But I think I was learned from my mistakes from Tarn. I actually was almost forcing myself to go slower than predicted, saying, "Oh, you need to conserve the energy because there's no point to kind of push in the beginning too fast." I was really looking forward to the section which I haven't been before. That was the Tararua section. And this is probably the only place where I bumped into some trampers as well along the way. But I was so surprised how muddy it was. And I was hoping to get fast over there, but it was just like, just fast walking as always. But the Goblin Forest is always beautiful out there. And that was really kind of one of the highlights. I think getting to Kahurangi I was kind of halfway, but I was 1 hour behind. So I was actually really kind of stressed at that moment. I think next slide. And it was kind of that moment when it's like, it's almost, your physical part is almost done, but it comes a mental challenge. You're like, why I'm doing this? I actually was texting some of my kind of friends and my loved one. And I think I was texting Jonathan as well, because he was like the one saying how much time I have left, estimating if I can still do it under 24. And this is where I was asking, why 24? Why not 26? But I think it was really cool to get some motivation, especially I think getting some messages saying, "Oh, just keep going, don't stop," and just kind of walk your way out. I think in Kaimehad, there was some trampers drinking hot tea, and I was like, I'm glad they didn't offer it to me because I was so tempted. And the usual conversations, they were asking, where are you going from? I was like, oh yeah, the silly things. I really want to be in your shoes now and have a nice sleep in. But it's like, you keep going, and I think once you're at Hector, you think it's almost over, but it's always like a death march on Merchant and stuff. So you have to experience for yourself. But for me, in the adventure racing, we use a music watch, which you just put some music on, and it actually tries to bring you out of that zombie mode, which was really cool. And I think once you realize that you're kind of close to reaching 24, I was actually quite stoked and quite happy to do that. Next slide. Yeah, I think just the table of pacing, and obviously the Strava shot, which is pretty cool. Obviously, I was nowhere near FKT, but I was just happy to do it under 24, and that was my goal. Next. The usual kind of what you're eating. I think for me, it was a big thing around the liquid food, because I found it, especially in the second half, it was quite hot, and I just couldn't even swallow some of the stuff, which had a lot of leftovers of bars and chocolates, which just didn't go. But Tailwind and I think Morton, somehow the Pardas really worked well. And I think I did some custom-made gels, actually. That looks really well. You mix up maltodextrin, you look like a drug dealer when you do them. It's actually a more cheap, efficient way. So if you want a recipe, just give me a shout. And I use the cramp fix for I know sometimes when the cramps are coming, I use those cramp fix shots, but I think I ran out, so I use instead of that I use the vinegar sauce for the salad, which is really worked like a treat. I mixed it up with some caffeine shots, but after that, I think 2 days my taste buds on the tongue couldn't feel any food. It tasted all the same. So it's it's a trade-off. Yeah, things you cool. Next one. Yeah, I think it's just kind of a highlight, and that was kind of my reflection around when you have a switch in your brain saying actually that I'm ready for a SK main range attempt, and it's not because the legs are perfect, but because your mind is ready, and accepting the discomfort and uncertainty and the real possibility of failure. I think that's when kind of it all comes naturally. Cool. What's next? I know it's probably everyone is here. It's a natural progression. If you're doing the main range, consider doing something more crazy. But there are people here who've done some of that stuff as well. So we'll see how it goes. I just want to probably thank all the community of these people. We're supporting each other. So it's really cool to be here. And just to close off the last slide, I think I have a 1-minute voice message, if that can work. That was me at 3 a.m. finishing 1 kilometer from and I think I recorded a voice message to my adventure. Guys, I'm about to finish Tararua S-K in 1.5 days left. The 23 hours and change. So I'm quite stoked with the result.
And I want to thank you guys for the support and inspiration. Jamie for the drink and food idea that worked like a treat. Kind of made the entire mission possible and surviving second half. And yeah, that was. I ran out just the last 4 hours, but survived the gels. Next time I need to get married. Me and you are close with you. Milan, you're always in my head, asking the question, can we go a little bit faster? And in this case, it's not running, it's just fast walking. So that was perfect. And Zoe, thank you for paddling with me on Tuesday. Hard effort. That really decided my pacing strategy for today, because I started really conservative and paid off in the second half because I almost did the negative split. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks for the inspiration and motivation, and look forward to seeing you magnificent. I think I'm done with my hiking training. Probably jump on the bike for the last month. And paddling. See you soon. That's my adventure racing team who will take it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, grab it.
Yeah. So Alex is one of the sub 24 main range successful attempts, and don't forget there's people that try it and fail. So it's not like a typical trial. It's hard to keep a track of everyone who's failed now. It's people having a go, but to do it in the sub 24 is the real deal. It's like you have to move fast. Well, you don't have to be fast, but you have to. There, yeah, it's an exceptional. But don't put people off either. If you've got the ability for a Tarn, you probably have a shot of a main range. Anyway, so next is Andy. Do his talk, and I'll just chase up the food as well.
Lovely.
It's grippy as.
How do you know?
So that is that's the twins in the Arthur Range in Kahurangi National Park, and our good friend Peter Lawrenson over a number of years has traversed this whole range. So in the north you've got Mount Campbell here, which is here, and then all the way through to the south you've got Mount Patriarch. So this ridge line, this range it's a bit over 100 k's, and most of that's untracked. It's there's lots of pretty amazing country inside of there. And so when we saw that Peter had been kind of knocking off sections of this over a number of years, and Marta got all excited thinking this looked like a great mission. So we went looking to see if there were any trip reports, and we could find one trip report which was about kind of 70% of it. And lots of people had kind of done sections of it. So we got pretty excited seeing that. So we planned a trip and started off day one, beautiful weather, see for miles, great travel, much faster than we expected. Right at the end of the day we had a little hailstorm, but apart from that it was just one of those perfect days. And Marta was quite excited the next morning about getting started early in the cold. But Mount Arthur Hut, one of those really cool Kahurangi huts, great mountain setup down there. So we, day 2, we got started in the Clag. We climbed Mount Arthur and then headed across to the Twins, which you just saw on the video. And along the way, there's this really cool cave which sits in between the Twins. And if your timing was right, this would be a great place to sleep. There's some deck chairs, there's a water source, there's an old can of sardines, some noodles there. You're all set up, you're styling. Now, going through the Twins, it was pretty. Peter's breakdown of this trip was: you've got a grade 3 scramble to get across the Twins. You've got lots of exposed terrain. You've got water shortages. It's it's a really cool adventure. And so, that's grade 3 scrambles pretty intimidating, and definitely had a few sleepless nights leading up to that. But the scramble was actually amazing. The rock is super grippy, and you see all of the, they've got chains, they've got wires, clips to clip into. So it was pretty cool. After you get south of the Twins, you start getting into some really rough country, there's no tracks. It reminds me a bit of some of the northern Tararua country. Good rough backcountry trails. And so we were hoping to get some water at a place called Batten Saddle, which was kind of the only water patch for about 10 hours, and we couldn't find the Tarn. And we decided to continue. Well, I encouraged Marta that we would continue, which she was quite keen for us to bail out and go down to Flanagan's Hut, but because the weather was kind of looking a bit dodgy, we had 2 forecasts, a good forecast, an okay forecast and a really crappy forecast. I asked her to continue, so we continued. We didn't get to our campsite, so we found this horrible little slope to pitch our tent. 5 o'clock in the morning, finally our tent blew down after being buffeted by winds all night. So at this point, we're 3 days in. We're starting to get smashed by the weather. And so, 5 o'clock in the morning, we're up on the ridge line. It's pretty obvious that we're going to have to bail. And our next bail point is this place called Cohen Spur, which we're thinking is probably only a couple of hours from where we are. But then from there, this is kind of the terrain that you're in on a good day. And we had one of those horrendous sidles, like you can't follow the ridge for a section. So you're in wet, steep, horrible sidle country where you're travelling a kilometre an hour. So it's just miserable. And so we're going, okay, we've got to try and stay on the tops because we don't want to keep moving at a kilometre an hour. And so we scramble along the top, get to a point where it looks really shit, like a really shitty scramble down. Marta starts kind of checking it out, scrambling down, gets to a point where she's like, this is not going to work, I need to turn around. Starts to turn around, slips, starts to slide on the gravel, hits the grass, speeds up, starts tumbling, head over heels, goes off a bluff, which is just kind of round here somewhere, and lands on her back off this bluff, which is maybe 10, 15 metres, and tumbles out of sight. And yeah, the noise that she made when she stopped was just this absolute pain, the scream that was horrendous. So from there, I backtracked to find another way round this, to come around here, so I could get down to her and set off my Garmin. That was just after 8 o'clock in the morning, and I got down to Marta, like as quick as I could. She was conscious, crawling into her emergency bag, and we got a message on the Garmin at it was about 8:30 saying that they're dispatching a helicopter. And I was sitting there and the weather was just shit, and I'm like, there's no flipping way a helicopter is getting in here. Got an update about 20 minutes later saying helicopter's going to be with you within 15 minutes. So, kind of starting to hold a little bit of hope. Maybe they can use their night vision or something like that to get through the clag. But sure enough, 25 minutes later, get a message to say, helicopter can't reach you. We're dispatching a land team. Now, the slope, the slope is steep enough that you can't hold yourself on the slope unless you're fully physically able. So we're there. Marta's like in excruciating pain, where I put her in her sleeping bag, have to cut off her backpack, and we wrap up in the sleeping mats that we've got, grab the tent, put that over the top of us like a bothy bag, just trying anything we can to keep warm. And yeah, the whole time, just centimetre by centimetre, we're slipping down this slope. So I think one of the it's a very horrific experience, and once we got the word that a Landsar team was on the way, your ears hear every noise that isn't the normal. You're listening for maybe a helicopter's coming, you're listening for people's voices, and the hours just ticked by. By 12 o'clock, Marta said to me, she's having trouble breathing. So I sent a message, to update the rescue team. And it wasn't long after that Marta told me that she didn't think she was going to make it. And by 2 o'clock, we heard some voices, and it was the best sound. So first, the Landsar team arrived, and not long after that, the Alpine rescue team arrived with a doctor and had some real drugs that could actually stabilise Marta. They had a stretcher, they stretchered her up, They had to dig a platform out on this rock here because there was no other place to put the stretcher where they could get it flat. So they dug out a platform, and there were a team in that rescue team. I think there were 7 of them there, and it took till 6 o'clock the next morning before they could get a heli in to get her out. So, 20 plus hours sitting there. That night it snowed. It was bloody miserable. And I think the one kind of thing that I wanted to share with you is that we were completely prepared. We had great gear. We had everything that you could possibly need in an emergency situation. We felt like we made reasonable decisions. We felt like we'd prepared for the route. We were in country that we'd been in tougher country before, yet my friend, nearly died. She dislocated her shoulder, broke 7 ribs, lacerated her lung, and punctured her liver. 10 days in hospital, a good deal of that in ICU. And so, for me, I just reflect that the edge is closer than what I thought, and and I think just the last thing that I wanted to share with you was that after this trip, Marta and I both wrote up a little bit of an account of it. And one of the things that Marta shared that I thought was really important was, you think that you take the risk and you're willing to deal with the consequence. But the reality is that when something bad like this happens, it's not just you dealing with the consequence. It's all the people close to you, and it's also all the people who come to rescue you. And I'm really grateful that we have an amazing rescue service in New Zealand, and it's a really amazing thing that we have. So I know the people in the room who are part of that community and who support that community, and good on you. So thanks. I think next time.
So I'll just do the next handover. So we're just the next. Thanks, Andy. I think that Marta's okay now. By the way, she's made a full recovery, and we all love Marta. And I just think the wilderness in New Zealand's the real deal. Anywhere in the world, that's the truth of it. So just have to treat it with respect. I think that's the learning curve you have. You always have to learn your lessons and treat it with respect. But that's, I'm sure a lot of people in the room have learned those lessons. I have had a few scenarios not as bad as that, but I think that's the only way you learn. So it's Nick up next to talk about the game.
Hey guys, I'm Nick. I just wanted a quick chat about the Greater Wellington Backcountry Network. I've left a couple of flyers around. Just for full clarity here, I've got a brain injury, so that was quite triggering for me. So if I go off topic, sorry, I don't need to be quick. The Greater Wellington Backcountry Network was a group called Tarn in the past, and they look after all the huts, and not all the huts, sorry, all the tracks in the Tararuas, Kahurangi's and Rimatakas. The Greater Wellington Backcountry Network now has taken on the role of maintaining all of those tracks that we use up there. At the moment, that's about 540 k's of tracks that the group looks after, and as a group we also look after 11 huts through the Tararuas as well. Last year the volunteers did 5,000 hours of maintaining approximately 150 k's of tracks and looking after and doing hut maintenance. Just for clarity with like the k's that you're doing, on a really good day we can do 3 to 4 k's of track clearing, and on a bad day it's about 250 metres of track clearing for a team. That's with chainsaws and scrub bars. So when you think about the valleys, there's a few hours of track clearing for that in there. As well as the track clearing and maintenance, the network also advocates on our behalf in the backcountry with Doc and the Ohau Gorge track, for example. At the moment, they were wanting to close it, but the group is currently repairing the slips. So that's how we're keeping the tracks open. There's the initiative of the cleaning buckets at the huts. So if you see that, it means that the group are providing buckets so that you can clean the huts while you're staying there, which keeps the huts in much better condition. You've probably stayed in a mouldy one before. So all the tracks that we run and tramp, and being a bit biased, the best events like the TMR, Holsworth Jumbo, Mukamanta, Aotearoa Undulator and the Y2K, all of these tracks are maintained by volunteers. Just so you know. How can you help? Volunteering. I know not everyone can take a week off work and fly into the backcountry or tramp into the backcountry to help, but we do shorter trips and day trips as well. Or you can donate. All of the money comes from a grant from DOC, Backcountry Trust, and basically 70% of the money that's needed comes from charitable applications and donations. 100% of the donations go to maintaining the tracks that we use. Lastly, I'd like to say a little thing from Andrew Burglass. He's the who set up Permalat on the west coast, and who do the huts and track volunteering down there. In the Hut Keepers documentary, he was asked a question about, who's responsible, and he just said, you're all Permalat. So everyone that goes in the backcountry has to do a little bit. So if you like what being out there now in the climate that it is, it's basically volunteers that maintain everything in the backcountry. So look us up on Facebook or gwbn.org NZ, but there's a flyer there about it. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy the tracks because we put a bit of time into them.
I'll just do a quick one because it comes to talk about wrecks. So a lot of you guys probably know the undulator and the munter, which was handed over to me by Shane Ross. Shane Ross gave me the munter. I did it for 8 years. Death by forms. I couldn't take any more forms or safety audits. And if Kerry Devine ever sees this, thanks Kerry for all your safety audit stuff. It was too much. And the undulator, we all love the undulator. A100, we all love that. That's 8 years of that. And Callum's come to the rescue and he'll talk about it now. So let's hope the undulator and the munter live on.
Thanks, Chris. I'll keep this real quick. Actually, I should start off. Thanks, Chris, for doing a really solid advertisement earlier for Terry's events down in Northburn. But I think we all should be signing up tonight to the Muka Muka and Aorangi Undulator. They're fantastic races, and it's so good to see these back on the calendar this year. So if you don't know me, I'm Callum Mellett. I've set up the Wilderness Running and Insurance Collective Incorporated, colloquially known as RECT. 14 people in this room may be familiar with how I corrupted a Essex night a few months ago to establish this society. But basically why we exist is to organise activities as a group in the backcountry for DOC. There's a very niche clause in the Conservation Act 1987 that allows us to do this without any of the paperwork that Chris did, which is just absolutely fantastic. And we have the full support of the local DOC office, or the local DOC offices in the region to put on the races. So basically all I'd say is that the Muka Muka Manta and Aorangi Undulator are like fantastic races if you sort of want that sort of introduction taster into the wilderness, race it. There's some incredible times for those races, but it really does suit sort of anyone that just wants that experience. Just it really encourages the community to get out there and do it. If you want to sign up, go to rect.org. That's rect without an E. Some stickers at the back, .org.nz. Look us up on Instagram or give it a Google search. Navigate your way around that. Sign up to be a member. It's $120 a year, and that gives you access to race the Muka Muka Undulator and basically participate in our society, which is just has so much potential to sort of do whatever. Like I've had constant streams of DMs, people wanting the Kāweka challenge set up, people want navigation workshops. There's just endless things that we could do if you all sign up. You don't have to race things, you can just make a contribution to it. It all helps. So yeah, that's RECT. Yeah, see you out there. Yeah.
Okay, so we got through the videos. That's quite good. I think it's really cool. It's always got a good vibe this night. We've got some really good talks. I think that's the magic of these nights. You've got these awesome talks, people's experiences, and if you see that, you might want to run through Europe for like 3 months or something. So the last two formalities of the evening is the Patupaiarehe Award, which is the Tararua Award for extraordinary endurance. Some people don't think the main range is enough. Then we'll do the certificate handout. But yeah, so can Brendan come up and do a bit of a talk about it? And I'd also like, there's a guy eating chips there. Little guy, come out, Albert, come up here. Come on, mate. This guy is 15 years old and he's the future. And this is your, come up here, mate. Go and meet. And I wanted to make a special note because when him and his dad did the Tarn S-K in 32 hours, and he's so cool because he came up to me at Parkrun and went, "G'day," shook my hand. I went, "This guy's a little legend," and he's done a full Tarn S-K in 32 hours with his dad, non-stop. I mean, that is the future, and if we can encourage kids and younger people to follow the mantle of people like Brendan, then we're doing a good job. So I wanted to just recognise how much respect you've got in the community, mate, at a young age. Yeah. So well done, mate.
Just on our
old. I've been lucky to see him. Chris mentioned he's done a Tarn, he's also done a Valleys. I run into both Matt and Albert on Cone one night at like midnight. Wow. Here comes this little fella through the darkness. And yeah, so he's also completed sub 24 Valleys. No, he's done a Mitre in the Three Kings loop. He's done a Broken Axe Pinnacles loop, a Neil Winchcombe loop. Oh. And so yeah, no, you're the man, mate. I can imagine going to school on a Monday and asking what friends have been up to, and they've probably been playing PlayStation and maybe been made to mow the lawns or something, and then you tell them what you've been up to, and you make them look a bit silly. But no, I'm here to present the Patupaiarehe Award for 2026, and unless you've been living under a rock for the last 12 months, you probably know who it's going to, but I'll say a bit about her and try and keep a bit of suspense until I finally reveal who it is. So we'll go back to May last year where I'm probably strong enough voice still. I was lucky enough to help her out. I dropped her at Putara one May morning where she set off to complete the main range and achieve premium status. She'd done the Tarn already and the Valleys already, and that day she probably provided us all with one, or I don't know if we all had the dot, but I was lucky enough to have the dot anyway, and it was one of the most thrilling dot watches I've ever witnessed, because she came in just 22 seconds, was it? Under the magic 24-hour time, which I suppose it doesn't matter if it's 22 seconds or a couple of hours. Sub 24 is sub 24, so yeah, she ticked that off, and then she began her 25-26 campaign first thing in the new year with revisiting the Tarn, which she had already done, but she obviously felt she could go quicker, and she did, coming in at just over 18 hours, which is rapid for anybody, so that was pretty bloody awesome to see. And then just a month later, she became the first woman to complete the Carkeek route in under 24 hours. I think she did it in 20 hours, 30 minutes and a bit of change, which is rapid for that route, so another massive achievement. And then another month later, she went for the big dog, the 1500s. Where she gave us another thrilling dot watch. I think she'll happily admit it was a slow dot watch in the end and kept us all on the edge of her seats, but we were like we kept seeing it move along, and she touched down in Kaitoke after setting off from Putara 37 or so hours earlier, and ticked off every 1500 metre peak along the way, which is massive. But that wasn't quite enough. She had a couple of months off with injury, and then thought she'd get back into running by hitting the main range again, where she, I think this time she bettered her time by a couple of hours and coming at 22 hours and change. What I haven't mentioned is that after the Tarn, I believe it was, she obviously drove herself to Putara, and she mustn't have many friends because she couldn't find a ride to pick her car up. So she got the train to Masterton and then ran from Masterton train station to Putara. I think she did the same when she did Carkeek, and then when she did the 1500s, I managed to persuade her that I'll happily take her to her car after TMR. And I don't know this particular person too well, so when you're in the car with somebody for the first time, it can be quite awkward. Don't know what to talk about. But when we get together, you can imagine what the topic is. Of course, it's the Tararua, and we're non-stop jibber-jabbing the whole way. And even when we got to Putara, I think we sat there for about 10 minutes continuing our talk about the place that we love. If you haven't worked it out yet, this year's recipient and kaitiaki of the Patupaiarehe Award is Olivia Lawrence. Well done. Say something.
Thank you. And thanks to Brendan as well. I'm sure you're all aware he did the massive first ever triple crossing. So not sure that's on my radar. Might be a bit too much, but yeah, I feel like this should really be a shared thing because that's amazing what you did. So yeah, huge inspiration for that and all the other SKs. But yeah, I love the Tararua, so I will be out there again. I'm not sure what I'll be doing next. Maybe taking a little bit of a break, but yeah, no, thank you for this. It's awesome.
Well done, Olivia. Yeah, do you want to say something?
Sorry. So I hadn't planned to get up here, but I've been watching what Olivia's been doing, and her journey in the Tararua has been amazing. It would be great to get Brendan back up here because, as Olivia said, it is a joint award where we've added 2 new korus to the shaft of the taiaha. But it's just amazing to see one person with a great love for the Tararua passing it on to another. And I think looking at people like Albert here and your fizz for the mountains, your fizz for just getting in there, it's just really good to see that transition. So yeah, thanks. You guys are up. Really are. Yes. Awesome.
Thanks, Sam.
Get a photo. Anyone want a camera? Anyone take a photo? I'll get one. You get one of these guys together. For the interwebs, mate. It's all formal. Legends. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The places they've been to in the wilderness. Unbelievable. Okay, so now the final, the formal, what this evening's all about is the 2 main range certificates, number 41 and 42. Would Chester Holt quick please come out? Number 41 and 2110. There's your certificate. There's the certificate, Atkin, and the program round certificate. So yeah, you can say something if you want or not.
Thanks very much.
He's I also go swimming with this guy. He's actually an ultra swimmer guy as well. Not many, but he's one of the good guys. And he's actually an Aucklander as well. So how does that happen? Boom.
Kind of more on the Waikato boundary.
No, it's good to have him here. We need the good people, and Chester's definitely one of them. And like Allira and everyone else, everyone's a good bugger. And the other thing I think is really good is how encouraging each other is to each other. You ever get a lot of support from each other? And
oh hell yeah! Yeah, I love Welly. Moved here 2.5 years ago, and it's just been gangbusters on the trails ever since. It's best city in the world.
It's good to have you, mate. Yeah. We need good people. So the next one is Alex Lark from Russia, 42. And yeah, obviously, well done, mate. We saw your talk. Adventure racer extraordinary, really good talk as well, by the way.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's really good. So it's impressive what you guys have done. And so those are 2 certificates. We're keeping the momentum going. There are people still trying and failing, and there are people making it. Let's keep it going. And that's so. It's been another great evening and really good people, and there's a bit of magic in the room as usual. And yeah, I think Chris Swallow will be proud of the legacy that he started after Colin and that. And if he were here, I'm sure he's looking down. So thanks everyone for coming. Yeah, that's the end of the evening. Oh, and there's food at the back. Well, not much food, but I tried to get. Actually, the chips are gone, but. Yeah, thanks for anyone that's paid the $20. But yeah, thanks for coming. Enter the Munster if you can, and enter Northburn. Yeah.
It'd be great to get a photo of the group here tonight. So if everyone wouldn't mind just Wellington standing at the front, and we'll take everyone in.
Oh, you're so smart.
You want the man? Turn that off.
Okay. Got to be some of those shorties in the front there. Yeah. Show's called It Ain't.
Yay!
How about a silly one?
Alright, thanks guys. Thank you very much.